Good morning. Today I am here to present to you the Midland R1 Mesh Intercom. It is an incredibly easy to use intercom with outstanding audio quality. Intercom with dual Bluetooth technology and mesh capability. We will see how to make Bluetooth pairings and how to configure it in mesh with other Midland intercoms with mesh technology. The intercom is equipped with a configuration of 5 buttons, which consists of 3 large multifunction buttons and 2 dedicated volume buttons positioned above. Flexible external antenna, 2 magnets for attaching to the helmet support, and a USB Type-C charging connector for convenient charging. In the R1 Mesh package, we discovered the inclusion of support for magnetic attachment to the helmet. There are 2 helmet attachment systems available. One utilizes 3M VHB adhesive with foldable fins, while the other employs a clamp instead. 2 types of microphones, one for modular jet helmets with a flexible boom, and one wired for full-face helmets. The package includes a pair of 2 40mm high-fidelity and power RCF speakers. Additionally, there are 2 spacers provided in the case, which can be used to bring the speakers closer to your ear if needed. Lastly, you will find a quick guide that contains detailed information about all the functions of your interphone. Let's start by learning how to pair devices, such as TFT phones or motorcycle GPS, to the Midland R1 Mesh. To turn on the intercom, press the central button and the down button simultaneously for 3 seconds until the blue LED light turns on and the jingle is heard. Then, press and hold the volume button plus for about 3 seconds until the LED starts flashing red and blue. This indicates that the Midland R1 Mesh is in main phone search mode, ready to establish a connection with your desired devices. When using the phone, we navigate to the Bluetooth search option. We successfully locate the Midland R1 Mesh device. After confirming the pairing request, we patiently wait to see if a second request follows from the phone. If so, we acknowledge it, and the intercom is now paired for both calls and music. This can be confirmed by turning off the intercom using the same procedure, pressing the center button and holding the down button for 3 seconds. The intercom will then disconnect from the phone. Upon turning it back on, it will automatically reconnect to the phone, ensuring seamless communication and audio playback. Here it is reconnected. Also, we can go to activate the Midland Connect application that allows us to fully manage our intercom. Okay, add the request for association of the Bluetooth low energy part, which enables us to connect and control our devices with minimal power consumption. When loading the app, make sure to navigate through its 4 main sections: digital radio configuration, remote control, and pairings. Now that we have successfully finished pairing on the volume plus button and then paired to the main phone, which can also be paired to a motorcycle's TFT, I will demonstrate how to pair a second device for mono audio only. In this scenario, the second device can be another phone for making calls or a motorcycle GPS. Always ensure that the intercom is turned on. Press and hold the volume minus button to initiate the pairing process for the second phone. Hold it for about 3 seconds until you see the red and blue lights flashing. Let's consider an example of a motorcycle GPS, such as the Garmin Zoom XT. Access the Bluetooth settings on the GPS and search for the device named Midland R1 Mesh. Once found, establish the Bluetooth connection by following the on-screen prompts and confirming the pairing request. Now you can enjoy the convenience of using the Midland R1 Mesh with your motorcycle GPS for seamless communication and audio integration. Here it is appearing well. The Midland R1 Mesh has been paired with the GPS, and therefore now both the phone and the GPS are paired. By turning off the intercom and turning it back on, it will automatically reconnect to both devices. This seamless reconnection process ensures convenient and uninterrupted communication during the usage of the phone and GPS functionalities on the Midland R1 Mesh system. Phone reconnection. During the reconnection process of the GPS and the phone, the Midland Connect application is also reconnecting. Therefore, we observed pairing with the main phone, pairing with the secondary phone. Now let's proceed to pairing with the main intercom and pairing with the secondary intercom. To pair the main intercom, I need to press the down button for at least 3 seconds until I see the flashing red and blue lights on this button. Then, I proceed to pair another Midland intercom, the BT-R1 Advance. I also follow the intercom pairing procedure on this intercom. When the BT-R1 Advance is turned off, I press the center button to enter setup mode and choose one of the 3 buttons to pair it. In this case, I select the center button and pair it with the down button of the R1 Mesh, which is the center button of the BT-R1 Advance. This completes the pairing process. Finally, I have successfully established the connection between the devices. I wait for a few seconds and, as you can see, the 2 intercoms have successfully paired with each other. The R1 Mesh does not have the settings mode, and therefore it immediately exits the pairing and returns to standby mode. Using the BT-R1 Advance instead, I can exit the pairing mode with just a double click. At this moment, I will make use of the identical button on the R1 Mesh to commence the audio transmission towards the BT-R1 Advance. And then I will execute a double-click action on this button to complete the process. The intercommunication system between the 2 intercoms is open and indicated by a violet light. A click on the same button and I turn off the audio. Now let us see how to pair another intercom on the up button, and I will show you how to pair a Cardo intercom with the OBI Open Bluetooth Intercom protocol. That is, we will use the same intercom pairing procedure on one side and intercom pairing on the other, as if they were intercoms of the same brand. So I turn on the Cardo and start the Cardo intercom pairing. Now I use the second pairing. I got the red and blue flashing. I wait a few seconds for the 2 intercoms to finish pairing. Pairing completed. After the pairing process, both intercoms are successfully connected and ready to use for communication while riding. In this case as well, I utilize the R1 Mesh to both open and close the button that I employed for the purpose of pairing. By performing a double click, I will initiate the opening of the audio with the Cardo, which is indicated by the presence of the purple active audio light. Conversely, a single click will suffice to close it. If, alternatively, I desire to connect an intercom from a different brand, hence an intercom that is not manufactured by Midland, or a model that is compatible with the OBI protocol, Open Bluetooth Intercom, I will need to utilize this procedure. I consistently utilize one of the 2 buttons for intercom pairing. At the maximum, on the R1 Mesh, I can pair 2 intercoms. Therefore, if prior to this point, I paired a Midland, and now I pair a Cardo, by selecting one of the 2 buttons, I will delete the previous pairing and override it with the new pairing. I choose to press the up button once again and send it into intercom pairing with a different brand of intercom, for instance, Sena. Instead of activating the intercom pairing, it will activate the phone pairing. The Midland will now detect a Sena intercom in pairing mode, and it will pretend to be a phone. By employing this clever technique, it will successfully pair with the Sena. In this particular scenario, I will always utilize the button that I used for pairing to open and close the audio. To open the audio with the Sena, I will perform a double click on the up button, and to close it, I will consistently use a single click on the same button. On the Sena device, however, the process of opening and closing the audio remains unchanged. Therefore, I always rely on the button that I initially used for pairing to manage the audio functionality on the Sena intercom. Being convinced that I am connected with the phone, I will have to utilize the button to activate the voice call. I will hear a first click, I will feel the voice of the connected phone, and I will see the little phone symbol. Upon a second click, I will open the audio, and I am able to see it from the purple lights of the R1 Mesh network. Now that we have seen all the Bluetooth pairings to devices such as GPS phones and intercoms, let's move on to the mesh part of the intercom. With the mesh technology of the Midland R1 Mesh, we can configure it in conference with other R1 Mesh or with Rush RCF. In order to connect these three devices in a mesh conference, there are two steps that need to be followed. The initial step is to activate the mesh processor for all individuals. On the R1 Mesh, it is necessary to double-click the middle button in order to see a white light indicating that it has been turned on. This light indicates to me that the mesh processor is turned on. On Rush RCF instead, I experience either a click or a double click, depending on the mode I am in, whether it is phone, intercom, or FM radio. The next step we need to take is to select a separate identification number for each of these three interfaces in order to ensure uniqueness and avoid conflicts. By utilizing the R1 Mesh in combination with my phone, I will demonstrate and guide you on how to execute this check through the user-friendly application interface. To begin, we access the configuration menu. Then we locate and click on the settings gear icon. Next, we select the mesh part from the available options and observe that the identification number, ID, assigned to it is 1. Well, so this intercom is configured to the ID number 1, which is used as its unique identifier for communication purposes within the system. The other two interfaces must have a different identification number. Only in this way will they be able to communicate with each other. With this intercom, we will see how to manually verify the identifier. To do this, I press the plus and minus simultaneously, a green light will come on, and I will listen to the selected identification number through the headphones. To modify this ID number, once I press plus and minus, I'll have 5 seconds to start clicking volume up or down to increase or decrease the ID. From the moment I press the buttons, I can change the ID by clicking the volume buttons within the 5-second time frame. There are currently numbers from 1 to 6 available for selection, along with a guest mode option that enables users to listen to the communication without the ability to speak or participate in the conversation. Once I have set a different number from the other, so if this one can be 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, it doesn't matter. A different number ensures that these two intercoms automatically communicate with each other. I will need to perform the identical action at Rush RCF. I press the plus and minus keys, the green light flashes, and I also choose here, listening in headphones, an identifying number that is distinct from the other two, such as 1, 2, and 3. When I turned on the mesh on all three interfaces, I selected 3 different identification numbers and also checked that the light flashes the same color. In this case, on the R1 Mesh, it is not a problem because they only have the dynamic repeat mode. But for the Rush RCF, which also has the mesh conference mode, it is essential to check the color because if it were the other mode, it would flash differently. In fact, the mesh conference mode flashes green and white. And if this is mesh conference, it cannot communicate with the others that are in dynamic repeater. So I will also have to make sure to be in dynamic repeat with the Rush RCF. Well, The message has been turned on with different identification numbers on the same dynamic network. These three interfaces are now in communication. If, by chance, one of the three interfaces goes out of range, the other interfaces will automatically reconnect. When the given interface goes out of range, it will reconnect automatically. If the interfaces change position and during the journey, the connection between them will dynamically change to always allow optimal communication, ensuring uninterrupted and efficient data transfer throughout the entire process. Now let's provide a comprehensive demonstration of the R1 Mesh interface by communicating with all of these devices. By utilizing the Midland R1 Mesh, with a simple click on these buttons, I am able to send commands to various devices such as GPS phones. For instance, when I click the up button, it will activate the voice call feature on this phone, providing an example of the functionality of this system. When selecting a music player like Spotify using the central button, a single click will send a pause or play command while the music is playing. Likewise, a click on the up button or the down button will send a forward or backward command, enabling easy track navigation. If instead of the GPS, another phone with this button is available, a voice call command can be sent to that phone. This means that a single click on the large buttons provides control over voice calls, music playback, track navigation, and voice calls to the second phone. Moreover, a double click on these three buttons allows for communication with various intercoms, enhancing the overall functionality of the device. To summarize, the central button on a music player like Spotify offers convenient control over playback, track navigation, and voice calls, while the up and down buttons provide additional functionality for easy navigation and communication with other devices. As previously mentioned, to activate the mesh processor, simply double-click the central button. The processor will then establish immediate communication with other mesh interfaces that have been configured with varying days and the same dynamic repeat frequency. By double-clicking on the up and down keys, I will temporarily close the mesh to open intercom communication with the intercoms paired on the up key or the down key. This action allows for convenient and efficient communication between the user and the paired intercoms. A single click of a button is all it takes to terminate the ongoing communication and automatically activate the mesh network once again. Subsequently, performing a double click on the downward button initiates communication with the other intercom. And by terminating the intercom once more, the mesh network is automatically reactivated, allowing me to seamlessly resume communication with my dynamic mesh conference. Therefore, utilizing the advanced R1 Mesh through mesh technology, I have the unparalleled capability to establish robust and reliable communication with other Midland mesh devices, while leveraging the power of Bluetooth technology enables me to engage in crystal clear one-to-one intercom communications with intercoms from all Midland Senacardo brands. During mesh communication, it is also possible to have background music, utilize GPS applications, and enjoy motorcycle GPS audio for a more immersive and enjoyable experience. To make adjustments to the audio level of the currently listened source, or of the sources in case of simultaneous audio like GPS and mesh, or music and mesh, we will take action by pressing the volume up and volume down buttons on the device to increase or decrease the volume accordingly. Moreover, the R1 Mesh is equipped with an automatic volume system that will adjust the audio based on external noises and, as a result, the cruising speed, effectively raising or lowering it depending on the prevailing conditions. As you have been able to observe, with Midland intercoms featuring mesh technology, it is not necessary to pair them as you do, for instance, when setting up a conference call via Bluetooth. You simply need to turn them on and configure the mesh processor and the Midland mesh communication algorithm, will take care of all the remaining tasks and ensure seamless communication for you.